President Ramaphosa of the ANC, so ANC President Ramaphosa, recently re-elected as the party's president, says ending the power crisis, improving economic growth and service delivery are at the top of the ANC's list of priorities for 2023, delivering the party's annual January 8 statement in Bloemfontein. Ramaphosa also emphasizing the importance of the ANC renewal. Let's unpack the statement. I'm joined by political analyst Xolani Dube. Xolani, good to have you with us. And if I'm not mistaken, this sounds an awful amount like the previous January 8 statements as well. Let's end load shedding, let's work on unemployment, and let's talk about the renewal within the ANC. I'm not hearing anything brand new, are you?
Look, I think it is the end of the illusionary that was constructed post-1994. ANC have told us lies since 1994, and they can't tell us any more lies. You know, they've reached the dead end as well. Literally, they've reached the dead end. And so yesterday, it was so painful to hear Cyril Ramaphosa, because his speech first, it lacks an ideological posture, and it lacks an ideological context as a political organization, because he was supposed to deliver a political speech. And when you try to browse and unpeel and try to find really what was there, is like unpeeling an onion. You know, you keep on unpeeling layers, and then you don't find the root, or you don't find the center. And so, as you have said it, you know, it was one of the useless evening that the South Africans have witnessed yesterday.
It's funny you use the peeling of an onion as an analogy. I saw one analyst on Twitter yesterday saying, just like an onion and peeling it, it's bringing tears to their eyes to watch this. There's also some suggestion, Xolani, that the ANC knows they are in trouble ahead of next year's elections in 2024. And there's a suggestion that maybe this is what the ANC needed to see how far they've fallen in order to really, for the first time, actually fix the problems. Do you think they could, as a party, change anything significantly before we all go and vote next year?
You have to understand that the ANC was never in charge of itself. You know, it was being managed by the so-called the minerals energy complex, by the ruling class. And an organization that was not in charge of itself, I don't think that they do have a sense of the pain and the destruction that they've caused in our country. And so, possible, let's say, 2024, it might earmark the really beginning of what South African politics is supposed to be all about. But that needs to be, the South African citizen must be at the center of this transition that will be happening in 2024. Because if we're going to let this transition be dictated by the business sector in our country, I think, again, it will be the solidification of the castle in the air for us ordinary citizens. And so I think it's time for now for true democracy to be dictated by the South African citizen, not by the political elite and the business elite.
I'm going to ask you to unpack that statement for me. What do you mean by true democracy? Because we're going to start using that term a lot more, Xolani, as we get to the elections of next year. What does a true democracy look like in our current state? Are we talking about an ANC, a ruling party in coalitions, or what does that look like in your world, a true democracy?
Look, you know very well that in 1994, ANC was kind of an anointed black political elite to be the administrators of the South African natives. And they were given an instruction to say, don't deal with the issues that are pertinent, the issues that are motive, of which is the land and socio-economic readdressing in our country. And that's where we are today. We live in a country where the G coefficient, you know it very well, Gareth, that it is one of the most evil one in the world, and where a majority of the citizens can't even afford the food basket, you know. Mm-hmm. And moreover, you know, we can't celebrate when the 2/3 of the population survive on the social grant. And that is a clear indication that this is a further disempowering of the majority of this country. And so all what you see what ANC has been doing, it was to pillage and disempower and to falsify what we call it, the laws of colonialism and apartheid. And that created this harmony and this racial tension in our country. Therefore, it's time for now for all the citizens of this country to understand that the cake that is in this country needs to be shared equally so that we can live in harmony. Because ANC, as well as the Afrikaner and the British business elite, they betrayed us. You know, they use these cleavages in our country to sustain their aristocratic life. And so now it's time for all of us, the white, the Indians, and the South African native, to say, here's the cake, and this cake must be shared equally. Because if we're not going to do that, I can assure you, we'll never really live in a democratic state, but we'll always theorize and try to understand how it is to live in a democratic state.
Share the cake. Xolani, thank you very much. Good to have you with us as well. So not much praise as far as the ANC January 8 statement is concerned from political analyst Xolani Dube. It is